We're fucking huge.
Yeah. Here, I'll just get up on your
Huge.
level. There we go. All right, all right.
Here he comes.
Yes,
There we go.
eventually.
Oh, Jeepers Creepers. I'll save that screenshot.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, CoryKuma and Scaley, for helping me out with my little pet project.
No problem, Dad.
All right. So if you kind of seen the interviews, you kind of know the questions are asked. So, Corey, how long have you been DJing for?
Barely over a year and a half, actually.
Oh, nice. How about you, Scaley? How long have you been DJing for?
Quite a while. It depends on what you classify as DJing, because I've done stuff as a younger kid. Well, I could go further into this question, but really, actual DJing, maybe 6-7 years.
Wow. That is actually pretty nice, and it definitely shows in your work, and also you as well, Corey. You do some amazing work, amazing sets. So, what got you into DJing, Corey?
Well, I've always loved music, and what got me specifically into DJing was actually Twitch, of all things. As I am one of the early pandemic DJs of watching so many DJs on Twitch in the early days during the lockdown here in New Zealand, like an insane amount. I made friends with quite a few, and they got me. They're like, "You should join. You should try. You should." I was like, "Yeah, sure." And then they're like, "Oh, you should DJ on Twitch." I'm like, "Okay." Little did I know what I was getting myself into. But yeah, no, it just kind of started as something I've always wanted to do, and kind of like seeing it and like making friends with a number of DJs that has kind of enticed me to start. So really have to thank them.
Yes. All right, Scaley, what got you to start DJing?
Well, I've been putting thought into this question, and it's all started when I was younger. My dad owned a dance studio. And he made me play music while he taught people how to dance. Back then when I was younger, all I had was like maybe some toys, and I'd just sit there and play while he danced and taught people how to dance. And then later on, once I became 16, I started in a local community radio station. And then once I became 18, I got bored of that and the hype. Around then, there was a hype. Everyone wanted to be a DJ. So, of course, me being young, I went to one of the local nightclubs and asked if I could DJ. And the guy said, yeah, sure. Here's what I do. I'll let you play for an hour. And it was early on the night, so there was hardly anyone there. He let me play, and I played some music because I've already been playing around on Virtual DJ. He let me fuck around for a bit, and then he said, "You're all right. If you want to DJ more, let me know." And over like the space of a year or so, he taught me top 40 music. Back then, I hated the fuck out of top 40 music, and that's where I learned most of that. And then everything's just been going on since then, online, off online. And it's just been jumping from different thing to different thing to see what works.
Go into bed, sweetie.
All right, Corey. What type of genres would you? Oh, sorry, I didn't know you were done or not. Okay. So Corey, what genres do you like to play?
I play lots of house. Well, I play lots of, if there's house in the name, I seem to play it. I have progressive house, funky house, tropical house, tech house sometimes, a lot of deep house, also trance, but do that on occasion. And yeah, and new disco, which is basically a type of house too. But yeah, I listen to a lot more, but that's the styles I kind of DJ with and kind of gel with playing.
Awesome. How about you, Scaley? What do you end up preferring to play?
all sorts of shit, and that's what comes when you work in many different areas, be it top 40 nightclub, you could say bush doofs or private parties, and then when you're going to backpacker bars, and that's the most interesting ones you can work at, backpacker bars, because you have different people come through every month or so. You know, they or everyone has different tastes, and because they're filtering through, you have the Britons come in, they like the drum and bass. You have more Europeans come through, not Britons, but, you know, Germans or whatever. They like more harder stuff. And of course, there's, you know, the basic top 40 stuff that everyone hears. But, you know, but then again, being online, you know, of course, I've just stuck to house music, but there's a lot of fucking genres I can dabble into.
Awesome. All right, so Corey, what DJ deck do you use?
I use a DDJ 400 Pioneer.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's what I got myself. And what do you use to DJ Scaley when you're recording sets and such?
Well, now I use Ableton Live with a bunch of controllers. So 2 launch pads for touching shit. Then to control sound is another little X-Zone K2, which is pretty good. The sound card in that is good, but you don't have much control over different outputs. But yeah, I've got the Tractor Audio 10, which was made for scratch DJing when I was trying to get into that. But that thing has a lot of inputs and outputs, which I could talk about sound cards all day. but yeah, a lot of different controllers, things I've tested out over the years. And basically, the best example of it is the Madion setup. If you ever seen Madion setup.
Explain.
Yeah.
If you've never looked up Madion, he's a French producer, and when he DJs, he brings in, he's got Ableton Live on his computer, and he uses 2 launch pads and X-Zone K2. That's all he uses. He might have something extra like a keyboard or whatever, but having that setup allows you to do a lot of pressing play and activating clips and etc. on a program which is made for live performances, but not made for DJing in a sense, but it's there. So I've started using it over the last 4 years. And of course, you're stuck to the sync button, which means you're not a real DJ by old DJ standards, but use it to your advantage.
There is nothing wrong with using the sync button as long as your beat grid is set up. At least that's the way I view it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you use the tools available to you.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, well, the thing is, like, I do have that slight opinion because I went through a vinyl stage of going, vinyl, you don't have to be a real DJ, but then I realized that no one cares about what you use.
Yeah, they just care whether they can move to the music or wiggle to it, and it makes them feel happy. Or
even here, people have joined and talked to each other and stayed. And I've watched people for bloody chill out to bloody breakcore going, and they're just sitting there enjoying themselves. Even if you're DJing and you think, like, if you just play something solid and don't just go, oh shit, am I fucking up? And you continue to go, people will still enjoy themselves. If you make it sound like you fuck up, then you have fucked up. But DJ tip number 1, if you play the wrong song, play it out until the end, or wait until there's a part where you can finish the song that sounds all right. Dead air is you can use dead air to your advantage. Example, the Ferality set. I recorded that in two 30-minute steps, and then put something in the middle to fix up the fuck up I did. that, you know, but that's where it comes into production, where you do more than what's expected. Probably going off tangent from the question here, but
Go ahead.
But yeah, like for any new DJs, bloody play. If you got virtual DJ, play around with it. There's a lot of like, don't be scared to touch something and accidentally break something. You can always reinstall the program. I don't know what
you can't damage the tracks unless you damage the tracks. As long as you don't delete them, you can't damage them while playing them.
But they're downloadable files. Like, how do you think scratch DJs realized what they could do by scratching? Like, it took one person to go, oh shit, if I do this enough amount of times and I start crabbing, which crabbing is a technique you do with your thumb and your fingers to basically gate the crossfader. And it took some people to realize that they could do that. Of course, you ruin your discs, your vinyl, you know, over time, you ruin the needle on your actual, your vinyl. And you know, you're still breaking things if you want to do something cool. And now you can do it just on a CDJ and do it. If you don't have CDJs, you could try do it on a controller, but it's a lot more harder. And there are some people out there who can do it. And it takes a lot of fucking practice, because the things you need to see and feel aren't there for using a controller. But yeah. Anything else?
No, that'd be it. Like what tips would you give to brand new DJs starting off?
Just play and try different things. Play music you love, start with that and play things adjacent, and then see what works. Like I'm not necessarily listen to a lot of techno, but I did a techno set one day to challenge myself, and you know, sometimes it's like that's actually kind of one of my favorite sets I've made in some regards. It's like because it's just like, oh, this works so well. So yeah, just you know, just play around with it, and don't be afraid to make mistakes. Yeah.
How about you, Bailey?
Like again with the music choice, there are people who go, they've already said to me, I don't know what to do for my Friday demo, and just like, well, pick a genre now and then find songs that sound similar. Of course, you won't find every song, and over the years you'll go, oh shit, that song I just heard on the radio, that will sound cool, I could use that. Like, the problem with me is that with genres varying in different areas, you go, I want that song, I want that song, I want that song, you want everything. But you can define yourself, you can narrow yourself, and you could be like a creepy, which has a very you know, that they stay solid themselves to that one like glitch hop genre. You have Tanaski, I forgot his full name. Do you know it? Tanaski. He made that bloody or he owns the world to the vinyl record world.
I mean,
you know,
Tanuki.
Tanuki. He has a defined genre. Whenever he DJs, he plays that one genre. He like, you could play, you know, just electro funk. You could play just R&B. You know, I don't really hear that much on fucking VR chat much, but find something that you like and play it. Of course, a lot of people are into house, hard dance, or whatever, but find something that you like, and then find other songs, and then put them back to back, or try to see if there's a way to mix them together, and you've just technically DJ'd. And now do that for an hour.
Yeah, and actually it's, and kind of along those lines, that's kind of how I got it into like house, like traditional house. Was it's like I like tropical house, and it's like I heard on Twitch there was like a whole gap. It's like, this is like the whole subgenre that was missing, and I like progressive house and trance, and I kind of picked up some house tracks along the way, just as one does. and there's like, and and it's just kind of like flowed into each other. Same with the funky house, that's kind of like just came in, and it's like, and just became really fun to play. And it's like, so it's kind of that's a discovery.
Yeah, kind of like me with my big room, my house, progressive house, electro house, bounce, Melbourne bounce. Anything else you want to add before we sign off?
Well, house is a house is a very easy genre to mix, and it's something easy to start with. A lot of harder genres because they just go boom, 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 boom. It's boom, cat, boots, cats. Like, it's simple. It's there. You can hear it. But when it comes to stuff like R&B and that, or even drum and bass, the drums start going different. And that's, you'll hear it when you mix them together. Like, I could even fucking do it now. Just get 2 samples here, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Do you mind if I just...
Good.
So we got this one here. Let's go reggae one. And that's got its own beat. But if we want to play a song that sounds like this on top, it's very simple. And then you got this one. Now, this one does sound similar, and it's the reason why I have it in the same pack, because I've got them together. So they do mix together. No, I got 2 bad examples there. But what's this one sound like? They all sound very similar. Now, I was kind of... I need to find something that's different, but there will be a clash where you have, well, the best bloody example of a clash is getting a house drum, which we can do that very simply. I think this is a house drum here. Nope. Oh, shit. Okay. Ableton's decided to crash there. Well, it's frozen. That's the fun thing there. But really...
I like demos.
Boy, I can't control this. I literally can't control this.
No. Control out the leads. Let's go kill it.
Oh, no. You might want to mute me.
He muted.
There we go. So I will...
Well, there we go. Oh, there we go.
I would say something. Another tip, kind of harkening back to Valent said last week.
Yeah,
is knowing knowing your genre. If you're playing a specific genre, there's kind of different tricks to it. It's kind of like knowing, like Future House is very formulaic. I'm sorry, but it's also knowing, like, you have to mix very quickly. You only have 16 bars to mix. Where, trance, you have a full minute, 2 minutes.
You have half a song.
Mix across, and you have half a song, and it's kind of like knowing when to be gentle and then knowing to be swift, and also kind of along. And when you're mixing, commit to. If you start in one style, can kind of commit to it. If it's like you start mixing fast, it's like just keep on going and just commit to it sometimes, even if it's like, well, I could have done that a little slower. It's like, well, that's the next time.
Yeah, there's
Of course, there's a lot of different...
Hey, Dragon Beats. Hey,
I was thinking, of course, there's no rewind while you're DJing live. Unless you just, go and scratch.
Yeah, exactly.
Tokyo earlier.
Twitch has kind of been my practice lessons, really. It's like, so I've always kind of been, my DJ practices kind of always been in fun. So it's like, you just kind of like, just keep going. You keep going with the flow.
Did you get everything under control there, Scaley?
Yeah. Yeah, it just took its moment, but yeah. Like, as what Cory said, just find a song, find music, play around with it, and find what you like. Like, there's Fetus Grinder. He plays heavy metal, and he, plays it back to back. And he's got people following him for that. Like, and because he's different, and no one else was doing heavy metal, and he does it good, he got into Frowley. That's just, Frowley, like, a lot of people have come up to me, and it's a big topic at the moment about that. But even still, in the real world, like pick your places. If you want to DJ at nightclubs, of course, house music, R&B, and hip hop. If you want to DJ at a nightclub which is underground, which does techno, that's where you go if you want to play techno. If you want to play it like raves or whatever, then you play music that, at the rave, which is rave music, be it any genre which is classified as rave. The internet's great because you can literally walk up and say, I would like to be part of your event. And they say, okay, listen to some of your demos. And if you're good enough, you can get in. And there's heaps of different events. If you can't get into one, find another one, and prove yourself to the ones you want to get into.
Like this event, for example. It's like, I do have, really good DJs like CoryKuma and that. I also have some untested DJs, like DJ Twisted Tail. And it's like, for me, I don't care how good or how bad you are, as long as you're trying to have fun. Like, my goal is in this event is to prove that good DJs don't always start off good. They start off from someplace low. And I want to give a stage to those who may not get into the other events as easily and say, hey, come to mine. Let's get you in front of some people. It may not be as many people as the bigger events, but hey, it's people.
Yeah. And with the internet, you've got more chance to do what you want. Like, I'm going to say it. Yes, I've seen people like shittier DJs than like me at the time when I was like let's say 4 years ago. There was a guy up on stage who didn't even know how to mix. He was playing a pre-bay mix, and when he did start mixing, he was out of time and he cut the songs in half, and I was like, what the hell are you doing? This guy was from the Gold Coast. He was the highlight of the night.
Oh no.
And the only reason why he probably got in was probably because he got a good word in from the from whoever he works with, and that person sent the manager of the group he was with, sent them down to us as probably a test, because I live in a regional town. What's the best way to test your DJs? By sending them to a regional town. But that's me coming into speculation there and what I want to try to avoid talking about. But like, if you can prove yourself to like if you want to be something, it's like having a job. If you want to be something and you really want to be that, focus your life into that. And the people who will employ you will see that. It may take years before you get to where you want to be. And if you can meet enough people in those industries, you can get enough good words in, which is why the internet is great. You can talk to more people than what you could expect in the real world, at the cost of your fitness. Speaking about fitness, I would have stand up and stretch one time.
Yeah, but any final things you want to add before we sign off?
Well, thank you for having me. It's been fun. Had a good time tonight.
Yeah, thank you so much. And that is one glorious beard. How long have you been growing that out for?
Well, it's year and 3/4.
So COVID beard.
But yeah, no, but yeah. Well, so it's a funny story about that. It's right before New Zealand went to like the lockdown number 1, where I don't know which number we're in. It was. A friend of mine was like, well, we shouldn't shave until we're out of lockdown. I was like, okay. Only one of us kept up with that bargain.
3 years later.
And yeah. And no, admittedly, this is not only a year and 3/4 of growth. It's I keep it
Keep it
trimmed and
nice
like
and
my
trimmed,
barber
yeah.
keeps it and contained. Yes, but longer. Yeah. Beard oil does wonders, folks.
Yes, yes. All right. So nothing left out of Scaley, nothing left out of Cory. You guys have a very wonderful rest of your day because you're from down under. It's probably what 6 o'clock now. Where you
It's
guys are?
4 p.m. for me.
6:45 for me, 3:45 for him.
All right. All right. Well, enjoy the rest of your day.
Jeepers.
Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much, and all you who are
Thank
watching.
you, Dad. And
Oh, good.
I love this delay. I love the delay.
Oh no. All right. Well, have a good night. Well, signing off. See you guys all next Thursday. Next Thursday, we're going to be having DJ Ear doing UK hardcore, and Candy Wolf doing. Actually, sorry, DJ Ear is actually doing UK bound, and then Happy Hardcore out of DJ Candy Wolf. And I'll be working on Melbourne Bounce. Is it truly from Melbourne, Australia?
Melbourne
or
bounce.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a fucking big story around this, eh?
All right. All right. Let me pull up a chair. Let's listen to Grandpa
Pull the chair.
Scaley.
You want to talk about this now? You really want to talk about this?
I'm in a chair.
Like Melbourne bounce and kick bass are the same fucking genre, and the most easiest genres to make. And for me, it's old. For a lot of the Americans and Europeans, it's still a hit. I've made some kick bass bootlegs in the past, and I'm over them. And really, of course, do what you want. If you like Melbourne bounce, play Melbourne bounce. I'm just gonna go, oh well, here we go again. But really, yes, Melbourne bounce started in Melbourne. Then people in Sydney started making the same genre, and they wanted to call it Sydney bounce. If no one knows about that, that was a thing, and there was a big tie between the two until Melbourne bounce took over again, and kick bass became a thing. But yeah, it's a sound. It comes from Melbourne, like Chicago house. You know, imagine if people from name American city, New York, and made similar music as Chicago and called it New York house. Chicago people are going to be upset. Anyway, that's
Don't piss off a Chicagoan.
That's my opinion on Melbourne bounce.
Well, interesting opinion. All right. Well, thank you again so much. Now we're really going to be signing off. For all those watching, we'll go ahead and find somebody for us to raid. Have a good night, evening, or
Jesus.
morning, or
See you
whatever it is.
See you later.
Cheers, everyone.